Oh, I need to pick a book first. Hi, welcome back to Katie Can't Read. I'm doing another tag because I woke up not feeling great today. And I did film something, but I didn't seem like myself in it, and it just didn't feel right as I was editing it. I was sitting there and I was like, this just doesn't feel like me. Okay? Like, it just didn't feel like me. So I decided I would do a tag. But this tag is actually like informative, I guess. I'm doing the book recommendations tag, which was created by Mary Grace at Mary Grace's Library, and I was tagged in it by the Bookish Potatoes. I love them, and I'll link everything in the description below. Cool? Cool. So this is a fun little tag where I recommend you people books based on some prompts of what I should recommend. So yeah, it's not like a tag where it's like, she's not talking about books. It's like a tag where like I'm actually giving you book recommendations. You know what I mean? I only have like 3 books to recommend, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, I'm gonna try and be like out of the box with it, and not just pick red, white, and royal blue for every single option. Maybe I will give it out, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna recommend you all my comfort books. Okay, bye. Oh, I'm so weird today. My emotions are wild. Okay, I haven't read the prompts yet, so this is gonna be like impromptu. Pun intended. So prompt number 1 is pick a book from your favorite genre. It took me a minute to really like think through what on earth is my favorite genre. It's not YA fantasy, even though I like it. It's not romance, even though I read hella romance. I think it's honestly young adult contemporaries. I think they're so fun. Young adult contemporary standalone is really probably my favorite thing to read. And so I'm going to recommend you probably one of my favorite young adult contemporary standalones that is underrated. And that's I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. How many Oseman books am I going to recommend during this video? I don't know, but we're starting strong with probably, it's honestly tied for my favorite Alice Oseman book. And maybe upon rereads, we'll see how it goes. I Was Born for This slaps so hard. Okay, so I Was Born for This follows, it's a dual perspective novel, and it is honestly the funnest Alice Oseman novel because it's so fast paced. Like, all of Alice Oseman's books are very much like character driven stories that are, well, this is still character driven. They're very much like slow vibe character development stories of a single character and their friends. This is like totally like, there's a lot of external forces, there's a plot, it takes place over a week as opposed to all the rest that take place over like a couple months. So this book is literally incredible. It follows Angel, who is going to see the Ark for the first time, and they're her favorite band. And she's like diehard obsessed, has been since they first started. She's meeting up with her best internet friend, and they're gonna go to this concert together. They have meet and greet tickets. They have the whole 9 yards. They're so excited. And at the other end of the dual perspective, we have Jimmy, who is the lead singer of the band, and he is a very anxious character. And the Ark is going through a very big week in their career. It starts with them at this big music awards, and then at the end of the week, they have to sign a contract on whether or not they want to be like held to multiple albums or not, or switch labels. And so they're very much like have this big decision to make, and it's stunning. So I love this book. As Jimmy and Angel's stories go forward and cross, it just goes crazy. I read this book in like literally a night. And oh my god, it was stunning. This was the Alice Oseman book that as I was going through her backlist, I was like trying to think of like which one I would like the most and which one I would like the least. And I always thought this would be the one that I was like, it's gonna be fine. Straight up, I think about this book 3 times a day. There's a really strong found family aspect of it with, well, all of her books have found family, but the band themselves, they're childhood friends. And so they have that history, and there's a really interesting lens of what fame does to people and of what fandom culture does to people. And I feel like if you've ever been a part of a fandom, or if you've ever been fandom adjacent, I have been fandom adjacent for like the majority of my life, especially for music. Like, I've never been a music stan or like in a music fandom, but I have been music fandom adjacent forever. And so it's really interesting to see that lens put on the fandom culture and on the famous life, and it reflects the good, the bad, the ugly of all of both. And it's really interesting and so compelling. And if you take nothing away from this channel, except you have to read an Alice Oseman book at least once, this is the one I think you should read. It's, oh my gosh, it is so good. There's some really good representation too. Like, Angel is Muslim and Jimmy is trans and has major anxiety. And oh my gosh, I love this book. I cannot recommend it enough. Can I? Please read it. Please? Please? Okay, thank you. Okay, prompt number 2 is recommend a short book. I don't read lots of short books. I mean, I don't read a lot of long books either. I really like to read books that are like 300 to 450 pages. Like, that's like my sweet spot. It's where I like to live. But sometimes I read shorter and sometimes I read longer. But personally, my favorite short book I've read recently, in fact, I finished it last night, was We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. This book follows Marin, and she went to college with just her phone, her wallet, and a photo of her mom. And she's definitely dealing with some heavy grief. This book is heavy, and it took a lot out of me while I was reading it. I think it might be why I'm in a weird funk today. But like, you know, that's how you know a book impacts you well. This book has some really stunning character development, and the writing is beautiful, and the plot is essentially, there really isn't one, let's be real. The plot is really that her best friend Mabel, they have a little history. Her best friend Mabel is coming to visit her for the 3 days prior to Christmas, and how she feels about that. And it's the first time they've seen each other since July of the same year. And so there's a lot of unpacking, there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of everything, and it is just a beautiful book. I think this book is probably really well read. A lot of people have probably read this. It's short. It's 230 pages. It took me, I could have read it in one sitting, but I started it late the night prior to when I finished it, so I didn't finish it in one sitting. But I finished it in 2 sittings. It was beautiful. And I feel like I related a little too closely as someone who kind of, who always has an instinct to run away from everything when my problems arise. I kind of related a little strong. Not to be like, but you know the vibe. I know you do. I know you know. But yeah, this book is beautiful. It's really good. I do love a character exploration in a YA contemporary. But yep, it's a sapphic book too. We love lesbians. Prompt 3 is a book to screen adaptation, and oh my god, you guys. Oh my god, sorry for the screaming. I'm gonna turn it down. But as you saw, as of January 20th, 2021, we're getting a Heartstopper adaptation on Netflix. Okay, so funny story. I woke up yesterday morning, because I'm filming this on Thursday. So I woke up yesterday morning at 6:40, which was earlier than usual, and I think it was God telling me, hey, Alice Oseman released some very big news. I checked my phone and immediately find out that we're getting a Heartstopper adaptation greenlit, confirmed, it's happening, and I immediately break down and start crying at 6:40 in the morning. It was really cute. Oh my god, I love Heartstopper! Okay. We know I love Alice Oseman here on this channel. If you don't know that I love Alice Oseman on this channel, where have you been? Are you new? Hi, welcome if you're new. Oh, my heart is racing. I am so excited about this. I'm so excited about this show. I'm so excited that this book is getting adapted because that means more people in the world get to see it. Did you know yesterday on Tumblr, Heartstopper was trending at number 2? The only thing trending above it was the presidential inauguration. That's hilarious. Okay, anyway, Heartstopper is a graphic novel series. It follows Nick and Charlie as they meet at school. They become friends. They fall in love. It is going to be, by the time it is finished, 5 volumes. It is updating every 1st, 11th, and 21st of the month online. I will link all of the free places you can read it. Unless you would like a physical volume, it is entirely free. I highly recommend it. All the links are going to be in the description. This is my favorite graphic novel. This is my favorite book on my shelf. This is everything to me. I think if I counted every time I reread Heartstopper a month, my end year total would be like 500. Oh, I love them! Okay, I am really excited. I'm really excited for this show. I'm so excited for Alice Oseman to get the platform her books deserve. And I hope that Heartstopper as a TV show opens up the door to her entire thing getting turned into a cinematic universe. The Alice Oseman cinematic universe. Okay, I'm done gushing about them, but just so you know, Charlie is my comfort character, and I think it's concerning. Okay, I'll put you back now. So prompt 4 is to recommend a book that's out of my comfort zone, and I just want to get something really clear really fast. So I rarely read outside of my comfort zone. And it's not because I don't like books that are outside of my comfort genres or whatever. It is simply because I do not enjoy reading things that are not what I yearn to read. I don't know. For me, reading is an escape. It is a comfort thing. So I would like to stay in my comfort zones. Do you know what I mean? But I guess I could say out of my comfort is usually classics, so I'm going to recommend my favorite classic, which is 1984 by George Orwell. This book also just makes me uncomfortable, like in the best way. If you're ever looking for a book that'll make you squeamish or make you realize things about the world, this is a really good book for that. I do love classics, I just don't read them very often because my brain doesn't like big words. So yeah, 1984 follows Winston, who is living in a dystopian society of London after after World War II ended differently. And it is a very interesting look on life and the rebellion and the rebellion of humanity. And I think I wrote 9 essays on this book in high school because I just loved it so much. And I always think the ending is so poignant. And it's one of my most highlighted books. I did read it in school, but it's honestly one of my favorite books. It's really scary in a good way. It makes me think a lot. But it's not a comfortable, it's not a happy read. I just want to warn you of that. And I'm sure if you're watching this, you've read this because, hello, it was usually taught in school. But it's the only book I really have out of my comfort zone that I have finished and have liked. Because there's a couple books that I have on that are out of my comfort zone that I finished and didn't like or haven't finished yet. So this is it for out of my comfort zone. Prompt 5 is recommend a book series, and if you don't know where this is going, I am so sorry, but I recommend The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. So this series is divisive, and that's why I'm recommending it to you. Not because it's underrated, like we know it's well hyped, like we get it. And okay, so the reason I'm recommending this is because so many people DNF this series, and I'm telling you, it gets so good. And I think that if you have DNF'd it or are scared to try it because of the opinions of others, just give it a shot. Yeah. I love this series. It is such an interesting series. I also love it because I love character-driven stories, and I love when a story is driven by a group of characters that love each other fiercely and that have a sort of they're looking for something, but for different reasons. And it sort of has that whole, the real treasure was maybe the friends we made along the way sort of vibe. And if that's your cup of tea, then you will love this series. It has action. There's so much like tension throughout. There's honestly, out of all of the books on my shelf, this is my strongest found family in the entire shelf. And I get it. Like, I do understand why people DNF this series. Like, as I was reading it, I was like, okay, I kind of get it. It's very slow. Like, very slow. But the writing is gorgeous. It takes you there. This series put me in a 2-month reading slump because I couldn't stop thinking about it. I simply think these books are stunning. And I think it's also, they tickle an urge in me. I have always wanted to go on a quest with my best friends for, not like a chosen one reason, but like to find something. And that's kind of what the plot of these books is. I really love the characters. I got so emotionally connected to all of them that sometimes at 2 o'clock in the morning when I can't sleep, I think about Noah's character arc and literally break down. Guys, like, please read these. These are simply amazing books, and I love them. And they're like, oh, they're so good. I know we've heard this a million times. I have more thoughts in the vlog I made above, but they're so good. And if you need incentive to read them, you're welcome. Okay, prompt number 6 is recommend a standalone book. And for this, I'm going to recommend Written in the Stars by Alexandria Bellafleur. I have a ton of romance standalones I could recommend for this, but this is the one I don't see anyone talking about. And we've all heard me talk about Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade a lot, and a couple others. But this one I don't hear a lot of people talking about. This is a beautiful book. It is, well, not really beautiful, but it's a really sweet romance book. It follows Elle. So Elle is an astrology guru. She runs an astrology website. She's very astrological based, and she's very whimsical and fun and a little chaotic bisexual. And her love story with Darcy, who is a complete type A type person, and they are complete foils, and they fall in love, and it's a beautiful, fun little sapphic romance, and it takes place over the Christmas holidays. But it's not like a Christmas book. It's just like Christmas is a factor. It's fake dating. We love it. It's like narrative foils to lovers. Honestly, the superior trope. Like, screw enemies to lovers. Narrative foils to lovers is the way to go. It's a really good story about just love and accepting love into your life, because both of these characters struggle with the idea that they should be in a relationship, and it's really good. I read this in December and I loved it. So check it out. Prompt 7 is recommend your staple book. Here we go. You knew it was coming. You know. You are, and you've been around. You already know. Okay, Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Also, happy birthday, Casey McQuiston. You're my comfort person. Her Twitter makes me laugh. Okay, Red, White, and Royal Blue. Do I need to explain? I'm going to anyway, because what if there's someone new here? So hi, if you're new here and you have never heard of Red, White, and Royal Blue, first of all, go pick it up. Second of all, it is about Alex Claremont Diaz, the first son of the President of the United States, who's a woman, and his transatlantic love affair with the Prince of Wales, Prince Henry. I am obsessed with this book. Like, to this day, I think about it a lot. I follow the Red, White, and Royal Blue quote bot on Twitter, and I have notifications on for it, so definitely rent-free. Everyone says this is enemies to lovers, but no. It's rivals to lovers, okay? And there's a difference. Enemies to lovers are usually out to get each other. Rivals to lovers is usually like, it's not really their choice. So this is a rivals to lovers love story, and it's just beautiful. Like, the exploration of Alex's sexuality throughout this is, first of all, mind-blowing. Second of all, the love that is portrayed in this book is so pure and so full. Like, they make me believe in love. Okay, like that's rare for me. It's highlighted like crazy. This is probably my favorite book. Well, one of my top 5 favorite books of all time. This book makes me go absolutely feral. It's so good. It is simply so good. And if you haven't gotten told enough to read this because of me, hi, here's one more time. What else can I say about this book? Like, what else can I say that I have not already said? There's a lot of, I don't think I've actually ever talked about how much I love the exploration of queer history in this book. Like, they really dive into just a pinch of, like, historically prominent LGBTQ people. And, oh my God, sometimes I just open this book and read the emails, like, and I don't know about you, but I prefer when my romance books don't have internal drama, they have external drama. Anyway, internal drama is when the 2 characters have drama. I don't like that. I would rather the 2 characters are ready to fight for their relationship and the world is telling them they can't. And that's kind of the gist of this book. Oh, please read it. Just please read it. Okay, so the final recommendation prompt is to recommend a book that got you into reading. I can't pick one. There are 2 books that got me into reading, and they're books I can never get rid of, and I will forever love these books. So the first one, and they're both like the first books that really got me into reading, if you look at different points in my life. And the first one is The Lightning Thief. As you can tell, my copy of The Lightning Thief is well loved. Like, she's loved. This book I read for the first time in the 4th or 5th grade. No, 3rd or 4th grade. And it was really the first time I remember enjoying a book. Do you know what I mean? Like, because all the reading I had done had been like picture books or baby chapter books. And I didn't realize that there were books for people my age that were fun, adventurous, and had everything I really wanted to read about when I was a kid. And this was the first book that showed me that existed. This book introduced me into a wider world of books, and it filled like the void in me for adventure for a really long time. And the other book that I would say was really like my main catalyst that got me into big reading when I was in like middle school, and I think I'll also grab one more and include the book that got me out of my 5-year reading slump. So my history with reading is I was really into the Percy Jackson series when I was in upper elementary school. But then when I got to 5th grade, I read The Hunger Games for the first time. And when I tell you this book changed my life, I'm not joking. This is not a sarcastic comment. This is straight up honest. The Hunger Games changed my life. It like changed the way I see books. I have read The Hunger Games more times than I have ever read any book in my entire life. I love this book. I read it 10 times in the 5th grade alone. It fully became a personality trait. There are 5 yearbook pictures in a row where I'm wearing a Mockingjay pin and a side braid. I projected onto Katniss so hard. I actually cried on my 18th birthday because I realized I was officially ineligible for the Reaping. What kind of messed up garbage is that? These books mean so much to me, and I don't talk about them a lot because I feel like they're just like staples and everyone loves them. But for me, there's something that's so personal, and I connect so deeply with them. They're the first movies I ever went to midnight premieres for, and oh my God, every time I think about them, they're literally a comfort book, which is weird because they're a dystopian murder book, and that shouldn't be a comfort book, but it totally is. It totally is. I have a Hunger Games poster like right there. Can you see her? She fell a little bit, but oh my God, I love these books. Oh my gosh. Maybe I'll reread them again. Oh my God. I love you. I love you. Okay, and now I'm going to grab the book that pulled me out of my 5-year reading slump. So I haven't talked a lot about it, but I read a lot in middle school. Like, there was never a time I didn't have a book in my hand. I read all the major series that were big back then. I read Hunger Games, Divergent. I read the first Maze Runner and hated it. I read Maximum Ride. I read Percy Jackson, Heroes of Olympus, Harry Potter. I read all of the big series at the time when I was in middle school. And then I got to high school. I read a few books here and there my first year of high school, but then I sort of fell out of reading because I took some literature classes and some English classes that made me think that I was above YA, that YA was below me, that YA was for middle school me, and that I was done. And then I read Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, and this was a book that my best friend bullied me into reading for a very long time, and I finally picked it up, and it just like blew my mind. It was the first book last year that I hadn't reread, or that wasn't connected to a series that I had just reread. This was the first book last year that I read for the first time, and it blew my mind. I did not realize that YA could be like this. I thought YA was just John Green and Divergent. And I thought I was done with that. And so finding new YA books in 2020 when I was out of high school, I was a college student, was really, really fun for me. And I discovered so many books that were new to me last year that were so exciting. And I love this book. I will forever love this book because of how it helped me out of that reading slump and led me into a ton of new books. This was a gateway book for me into reading just all kinds of new authors, finding out that I love weird fantasy, and yeah. And that I am not too old for YA, and you are not too old for YA, and no one's too old for YA. It is a suggestion. Just like how that puzzle says 2 to 4, but you can do it anyway. I believe in you. I don't know, I feel like everyone's read the 3 books that I recommend as books I got back into reading, but that's how it goes. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to tag Claire at Unclearly Claire, Kelsey at I Read Today, and Nicole at A Cup of Nicole, and Nicole at Nicole Reads. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, drop a comment. If there's any of these books that you love or that you've never read and you're like, you convinced me, or if you just really want to scream about the Heartstopper series, oh my God, I'm so excited! Please drop a comment. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. Did I already say that? I don't remember. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next chapter. Bye!